Oh my God. I have heard of Heroes of Wrestling. I knew of it. I have never watched it because everybody said, oh, it's terrible. It's the worst card ever in the history of wrestling. Yesterday, I was feeling froggy. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to watch it one time just to see for myself. Because there was a copy of the full card up online. So I decided to look it up for myself. And all I got to say is, when you watch wrestling that is so unentertaining, that is so miserably bad, that you pretty much have to entertain yourself with how bad it is. It is so bad, you would rather watch a marathon of all the Fantastic Four films. That includes the Corman version. That includes the two from the 2000s, which so far have been the only decent ones. And that includes even the trash that I have bashed on many occasions. Fan Four Stick 2015. That's right. I'd rather watch a marathon of them than watch Heroes of Wrestling again. And this is a wrestling fan. And I am a wrestling fan going on 35 years. Going on 35 years. I've been watching since late December of 1984. Is when I started this love affair of this thing they call professional wrestling or sports entertainment. And I have seen some bad cards and some bad matches. This card right here is the worst card ever. This makes Sting versus Jeff Hardy at Victory Road 2011 look like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3. This makes Triple H versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania 25. Look like Ric Flair, Rick Steamboat from 1989. Yes, this card makes ECW December to Dismember look like Wrestle Kingdom 12. This card is... let me break it down. First, we have the Samoan SWAT team, who were nowhere near their prime. Fatu was always the bigger of the two Samoans, but Samu was kind of, slim. He was a big dude, but he was kind of slim, agile. He had none of that for this card. He didn't look like Samu. He looked like the creature that ate Samu. They took on Marty Jannetty, who at the time was still in shape, and one half of the Fantastics, Mr. Tommy Rogers, who always kept himself in pretty good shape, and still was. By the way, may that man rest in peace. I understand he passed away a couple years ago. I didn't know about that until recently, so may that man rest in peace. Anyway, the only reason this was a decent match was the finisher. The finisher was well executed. Basically, it was the TKO he used. It was the TKO Samu used on Tommy Rogers. Then up next, we have Greg the Hammer Valentine versus George the Animal Steel, who is also dearly departed. George Steele came with another person that's also dearly departed, Sherry Martel. This match was slow. This match was boring. Greg the Hammer Valentine was never the speediest wrestler to begin with. But even the brutality, the power, the strength of the Hammer has been dulled by the years. Not to mention, he's been hanging out at McDonald's more than Planet Fitness or Gold's Gym. Then you have Too Cold Scorpio against Julio Fantastico, who I have never heard of, prior to this, which was actually a decent match. But then Scorpio at the very end, he does the tumbleweed leg drop. And he totally misses. He completely misses Julio Fantastico. But Fantastico was gonna sell it like death. But in a way, it's kind of good that he did miss. Because if he would have landed on Fantastico, oh Lord, Fantastico's world would have been totally messed up. Because his leg would have landed on him. He would have landed on him. Buck booty first on the man's face. So it is kind of good that he missed. Oh, God. Oh, my God. And then comes the worst wrestling match ever. Or at least one of. The Iron Sheik, who was nowhere near his prime, and the late Nikolai Volkov against the Bushwhackers. This match was so bad. Nikolai was just low blowing. He was just going, ooh, the nuts. Or one of the Bushwhackers at least 2 or 3 times. Like he just found out that the man slept with his wife 20 years ago. And he wanted to exact revenge. Heck, he hit him. He kept hitting him in the nuts. Like he just found out that, I forgot which Bushwhacker it was. That was the Bushwhackers. Bushwhackers whacked the bush, if you get my drift, of his old lady just last night. Oh, God. This is what, I don't advocate alcohol, but this is one card. You should, if you watch it once, and you might want to have your favorite alcohol beverage when you watch, because you really need to be hammered when you watch this. The match was so bad. When one of the Bushwhackers covered the Iron Sheik, the referee gave the fastest 3 count in wrestling history. He made a 3 count so quick, even the Flash would have turned his head and been like, what the? Then you had one half of the Midnight Express, one half of the Fabulous One, Sweet Stan Lane, versus one of the legendary 4 Horsemen and Daddy to Tessa Blanchard. Of course, I'm speaking of Mr. Tully Blanchard. This was actually a decent match. And Tully Blanchard, it was a few highlights of the whole show. Cut a very, very badass promo. It's just too bad it was on a piece of crap show like this. But like I said, even this match, which was easily, along with Scorpio and Fantastico, the best matches of the night, even this one was barred. It was barred by the old back suplex. All shoulders was down. The man executing the move forgets to raise his shoulders up, while the man that took the move remembers to get his shoulder up. That old Southern, old NWA, old Georgia Championship Wrestling finish. The 4 Horsemen triumph again. And then next you have Fat One-Man Gang against even fatter Abdullah the Butcher, which was nothing but a bloodbath. Now, if you wanted to be heroes of wrestling, if you wanted families to be able to come to wrestling cards like this, why on God's green earth would you invite Abdullah the Butcher? Did this promoter check out who Abdullah was? Did this promoter see what Abdullah is about? Abdullah ain't about wrestling holds. He ain't even about good old-fashioned brawling. He's about getting in the ring, kicking you with them Iron Sheik boots, taking out the fork, taking out the shank, and cutting you open. He about He's about making you bleed all over the ring. Oh, God. I'm laughing and tripping off of this, and I'm not even drunk. I'm not even high, but you would have to be to ever rewatch this. Anyway, that craptastic match ended in a no contest. Then you have Superfly Jimmy Snuka versus Cowboy Bob Orton in a serviceable match. In a pretty serviceable match, but still, then again, these two were way past their prime. I mean, Superfly is long gone. The Ace is still around, but even in 1998, neither one of these guys has seen the gym in a long time. And you can tell. Then we get to the most infamous promo ever in professional wrestling. Jake the Snake Roberts, who's high as a kite, who's drunk as a skunk, comes and cuts a promo on Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And you know what the saddest thing is? Jake the Snake, who you can clearly tell is impaired, Jake the Snake Roberts cut a better promo than 90% of the dudes in wrestling today, and he was stone drunk. He was stone high. Anyway, him and the Anvil have just a plotting match, which gets interesting in all the wrong ways. When Jake the Snake pulls out Damien, the Anvil naturally hightails it out of the ring. Then Jake the Snake thrusts back and forth with Damien in front, simulating something inappropriate that little children should not be seeing. And then on top of that, he tries to tongue kiss the Snake. Oh my God. Which prompts King Kong Bundy at the pleading of the promoter to attack him, and the Anvil attack Jake the Snake. And then Yokozuna was come running down. We get an impromptu tag team match player. Oh my God. Oh no. And basically, half the match, the Anvil spins, trying to knock Jake the Snake out so they don't have to deal with him. But Jake is so coked up. He's so up on whatever is in his body at the time. He is so amped up on whatever's in him. You can't knock this man out. So finally, King Kong Bundy gets Jake the Snake down, and he lands and made King Kong Bundy rest in peace too, as well as Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Yokozuna, who he looked, by the way, on Yokozuna, he looked in horrible shape. That man could barely move. I mean, he was never the speediest man anyway, but compared to the 600 plus pounds he was at the time that 505 pounds he was during his WWE World Championship reign made him look like Brock Lesnar in 2002. That's how bad shape Yokozuna was. Anyway, King Kong Bundy throws 450 pound splash onto Jake the Snake Roberts. The referee once again gives one of the speediest 3 counts in wrestling history. Even he wanted the match over with. And that's pretty much history of wrestling. Oh my God. So my overall grade of this is basically one big fat F. Fail. Hold this L. Hold the L, heroes of wrestling. You have just made WrestleMania 9. ECW December to Dismember. TNA Victory Road. You have just made those 3 wrestling cards, along with others I have not named, look like the greatest thing in wrestling in comparison. You have made WCW 2000 look like a classic. The worst card in WCW in the year 2000 wasn't as bad as this. They at least had 1 or 2 good matches or 1 or 2 good moments. This thing was awesomely bad. My advice, avoid this at all costs, but if you must, watch it once just to see what I'm saying. Aside from Tully Blanchard and Stan Lane, with honorable mention to Too Cold, that Julio Fantastico, and even a little bit to Superfly and Bob Orton. Aside from those guys, this whole show was terrible. This whole show should have fell into the fiery abyss and burned in hell for all eternity. I have seen indie shows that weren't as bad as this show. I have seen shows at the local auditorium here in Bluefield that weren't as bad as this. Oh my God. And this was actually supposed to be a regular promotion. There was plans to make it a regular promotion. Thank God that did not go down. Anyway, I'm out. If you do find it and watch it if you dare. I'm out.
Hey, who gon' cover the bill? I guess I deliver.